Carl, Jake, Hazel, Jion, Jacob, Jordan, and with them, Mark also reached Jungkook's mansion. They had all decided to go to New York together. The guard had already welcomed them once again, but Jungkook had neither came out of his room nor was Taeyong seen anywhere. Jimin also came there and started looking angrily at the closed door of Jungkook's room. Jake's smile irritated everyone. "How long are we going to wait?" he said. Jake raised his eyebrows and looked at her. "What can I do? It's his choice. He will wake up when he wants. If you all are tired, then go rest. There are plenty of rooms here," he said carelessly. On the other side, Jungkook woke up when his phone started ringing. It was Jimin's call. The first thing he did was look at the clock. It was 4 in the evening. He wondered why Jimin was calling at this time. Clicking his Bluetooth in his ear, he pulled Taeyong's softly keyed body closer to himself. His deep, heavy voice emerged. "Dear Jungkook, we are dying up waiting for you to wake up. We were all supposed to go to New York together, but you just would not stop enjoying yourself. Be thankful I do not walk into your room while you are enjoying yourself, and you are all sitting comfortably in my house. Come on, man, at least I enjoy it at night. You have turned day and night into one," he teased, smirking. "What's your problem?" he murmured back coldly. "Leave my Taeyong alone, Jungkook. He is delicate," he said, almost pleading. Jungkook looked at Taeyong, noticing the faint mark on his neck and cheek. He exhaled deeply, expression unreadable. "Too late for that. You should have thought about your delicate Taeyong earlier," he said calmly, then ended the call before Jimin could continue yelling. Taeyong was still half buried in the blanket, breathing softly, clearly in deep sleep. Jungkook shook him gently. "Taeyong, let me sleep," he murmured, turning to the side. "Sorry, baby boy, you have to wake up now. We are going to New York. Come on, get up," he said, patting Taeyong's cheek lightly. "You didn't let me sleep at all," he said tiredly, barely opened his eyes. Please let me sleep," he asked, looking at Jungkook with big eyes. "No, baby." Jungkook leaned closer. He touched Taeyong's face gently and kissed his forehead. Then he kissed his cheek softly. Taeyong shivered. He tried to pull away, but Jungkook held him close. Jungkook kissed his lips gently. Taeyong's hand stayed on Jungkook's chest. Jungkook moved a little closer, resting his head on Taeyong's neck. Taeyong breathed fast, feeling scared and happy at the same time. "I will be baked fresh, so get up. We cannot be late. Come on, my prince," he said softly, smiling a little. Finally, Taeyong was standing on his own, but his face looked very happy. Jungkook's hands were around his waist, holding him gently. They had all eaten a good breakfast. Taeyong had hidden his bite mark with foundation and looked nice enough to go out. Jungkook looked calmly and happy. He was wearing black paint and a coat. The first 4 buttons of his shirt were open, showing his strong chest. He held Taeyong close, standing proudly and protectively. "I arranged a party for you, Jungkook, at a bar," he said with a fake smile. "The party is happening anyway," he said, patting Mark's shoulder, then went first to his private jet. The jet had landed a little distance away from his location. The others were coming in another jet. Today, they were stepping into New York after many years. He had taken Taeyong to a separate place. It was a beautiful, royal-looking mansion, almost like a palace, and it stood on a height as if built upon a hill. At that moment, Jungkook was standing in the lawn deciding where his tiger should stay, while Jimin had escaped from Jack's place to come here. Taekook had even told him to leave, but Jimin didn't seem to care. And then there was Jimin, his husband's favorite. Taekook focused on finding the perfect spot for his tiger. Whenever Jimin and Taeyong meet, Jungkook felt as if their tongue knew only one thing to say. here, we will build a hive. And here, for you, a barbecue pool. Barbecue pool? He jumped in surprise. Jungkook looked at the two of them in utter boredom. Yeah, you will like it. Oh, Jimin, you are so nice. He clutched to Jimin's arm. But when Jungkook showed him a sharp look, he immediately let go. As if he can ever stand to see me happy. He murmured brutally. Taeyong shook his head. Alright, tell me, should we make a farm here? The land is huge. Jimin burst out laughing, holding his stomach. A farm? Cows? Buffaloes? Pig? Yes, keep pigs too. Your husband tiger alone is enough to turn this place into a zoo. We were not making any farm. Why not? We will. I said no. Are you be crazy to live in a zoo? If you want that, go live in the jungle. He burst out laughing and counted. Alright, do not talk. Let's do one thing. I will bring you the world's rarest parrot. It will be as tall as you, he said, and Taeyong jumped again in excitement. Really? Parrots can be that big? This isn't a market, Taeyong. Stop shouting. Jungkook's cold voice made him bite his tongue and fell silent. Jimin, however, burst into laughter again. It was night time. 3 hours had passed and Taeyong had left the room, but he still had not returned. Taekook was sitting on the bed working on his laptop. After some time, he closed the laptop, put out his cigarette in the ashtray, and opened the door of the room. When he looked outside, he saw that Taeyong and Jimin had fallen asleep while watching a movie. Taeyong was lying on Jimin's chest, sleeping peacefully. Maybe imagining it was Jungkook. Jungkook walked closer to them. His eyes stayed on Taeyong's calm face. He slowly bent down and carefully picked Taeyong up in his arms. His eyes opened slightly when he saw Jungkook. He softly held Jungkook's face in both hands and kissed his cheek. Then he wrapped his arm around Jungkook's neck and fell asleep again. Jungkook tried to wake Jimin up by kicking him lightly, but Jimin didn't move. He just turned to the other side and kept sleeping. Using his foot, Jungkook pushed the door open and let Taeyong down on the bed. His breath grew heavy as he looked at Taeyong's peaceful face. Then he leaned closer, his lips touching Taeyong softly at first. Then, with more need, Taeyong's weight became uneven and he turned his face away in surprise. Jungkook caught his face again and turned it back toward him, his expression hard. Taeyong gasped when he felt Jungkook's teeth pressed on his lip, a little too hard, and sat up quickly, startled. But Jungkook's face was calm, expressionless. He pulled off Taeyong's jacket and tossed it aside. Then he bent down and bit gently on his shoulder. Jungkook? He gasped in pain and confusion. You should have been careful, Taeyong. His voice was sharp, full of emotion. What did I even do? He looked at Jungkook with wide, innocent eyes. Jungkook looked into those eyes silently. He knew. Taeyong didn't realize anything when he slept. How could he be angry at him now? He stood up and slowly took off his shirt. Seeing his strong chest and muscles, Taeyong forgot to breathe. Jungkook caught his hand and pulled him close. His body surrounded him like a storm. I do not understand. He whispered near Taeyong's ear, his low voice and rough. Should I kill you or should I keep you close and make myself suffer? Jungkook's warm breath touched Taeyong's skin, making him shiver. He had thought Jungkook's touch would be gentle, but it was burning hot. Jungkook brushed his finger against Taeyong's cheek softly, then moved away. Jungkook, he whispered, blinking in confusion. Sleep. His voice became calm. That's your punishment. You will stay away from me for 4 days. No, he pouted sadly. Jungkook's heart softened at the sight. A faint smile came on his lips. He looked at the boy beside him. Taeyong had already hidden his face in Jungkook's neck. This is your punishment, Taeyong. He frowned slightly and moved him away. But what did I do? He asked softly, confused. Jungkook sighed and rubbed his forehead. Taeyong rested his innocent face on Jungkook's chest, blinking innocently. A punishment is a punishment. You will stay away for 4 days. Start counting on your finger. He pushed Taeyong away gently and pulled the blanket up to his neck. Taeyong hit Jungkook's arm with his hands and popped his cheek before hiding under the blanket. Jungkook took a deep breath. This boy had no cure. Finally, he pulled Taeyong back into his arm and closed his eyes. The room became quiet again, only their soft breath filled the dark night. It was evening. Jimin and Taeyong were sitting on the couch in the living room, watching TV. On the table in front of them were different snacks that they were eating from time to time. Then Jungkook came and spoke. Taeyong, come on, let's go for shopping, he said in a busy tone while putting on his jacket. Jimin's mouth fell open in surprise. Taeyong jumped up happily. Jungkook didn't like this kind of excitement. After 10 years of silence, Taeyong was making up everything with his loud joy. So, my punishment is finally over? He came closer to Jungkook with a teasing smile. When did I ever say that? He looked at him seriously, though his eyes were soft. Wait, this is not fair. He stood up quickly, throwing the snakes off the table. This boy belonged to me during the day. How can you take him shopping? I'm not that kid. I will take him myself. He shouted in anger. Jungkook calmly put a hand on Jimin's mouth, pushed him aside and walked toward the door. This bastard keep ignoring me, he yelled after him in frustration. Taeyong smiled softly and touched Jimin's hand with care. Jimin, it's okay, we will go together later. Please, he said innocently. Jimin couldn't stop laughing at his cute face. Will you bring me a gift then? He pointed his finger playfully. Promise, I will buy the whole city for you, he said excitedly. Jimin messed up his hair like a kid. As soon as Jungkook came back to the room, Taeyong waved to Jimin and went outside with Jungkook. At the shopping mall, Taeyong's eyes were shining with excitement. Jungkook, I want this one and this one. Oh, and that one too, he said quickly, grabbing a pile of teddy bears from the shelf. They all look the same, he said in a hot tone, crossing his arms. So what? If one gets wrong, I will use another one. He pouted, clearly upset at Jungkook's dull reaction. He sighed and sat down on a nearby sofa. Regretting why he came at all, Taeyong picked more of teddies until his arms were full. Jungkook just watched him silently. That's it, I will just take these, he said proudly, holding half of the sharp teddy bears in his hands. Fine, pay for them before you leave, he said and walked out of the shop casually. Taeyong's lips turned into a pout at his coldness. The salesgirl nearby giggled softly. Annoyed, Taeyong ran after Jungkook, caught his arm and stood in front of him. Give me the money, he said angrily. Eyes flashing, Jungkook shook his head and smiled. Then he placed his black card in Taeyong's hand and started walking again. Feeling proud, Taeyong turned around, lifting his chin proudly in front of the salesgirls. He paid for the thing with Jungkook's card, picked up his shopping bags and came out smiling. Jungkook was looking at a shirt when Taeyong started shopping here there too. He had already bought many shirts and trousers and was using Jungkook's black card like all the money in the world was free. Jungkook picked up a black shirt. Black was his favorite color. Usually, his guard did all his shopping because he had only time for serious business and dangerous work. But today, since he had come with Taeyong, he decided to choose something for himself for the first time. Meanwhile, Taeyong had already collected a mountain of clothes. Taekook held one shopping bag in his hand while Taeyong had a lot of which was held by guards. Where will you even keep all this? He looked at the bag in surprise. In my room. I will arrange a separate room for you today itself. My shopping is done, let's go now. What did I even buy yet? He said, standing with his hand on his back. Taekook's eyes wanted. No one could ever compete with Taeyong in shopping. Even a Mafia king like Jungkook felt nervous now. But because Taeyong was being stubborn, Jungkook held his hand and led him outside. Taeyong sat beside him in the car, still walking. Jungkook tried not to smile, but his eyes accidentally fell on Taeyong again. A red laser light was moving slowly across Taeyong's face, and he didn't even notice, still sitting there with a cute pose. You are the worst husband in the world, Such a big mafia king, and you are being stringy even in New York. He complained, not realizing the danger. The lead right on his face made Jungkook's heart stop for a second. In an incident, Jungkook pulled Taeyong close to him, and the very next moment, a bullet hit the car window, making a deep crack across the glass. The car was bulletproof, but the loud sound made Taeyong flinch in fear. Jungkook held him tightly in his hand as bullets started raining on the car. Outside, his car had already begun firing back. People screamed and ran in panic. Jungkook's favorite car was now covered with bullet marks. Jungkook quickly opened the dashboard and took out his gun. "Stay here," he said firmly, and was about to step out when Taeyong grabbed his arm tightly. No, Jungkook, don't. I'm scared, please." His voice broke. His face had turned pale with fear and his hands were trembling. Taekook looked at him for a moment, then pulled him gently onto his lap and held him close to his chest. It was not just an attack now. It was an insult to Jungkook's name, to his power. How could someone dare to attack him in his city, knowing this city belonged to Jungkook? If time had not been there, Jungkook alone would have gone out and finished them all. But Taeyong was there, fragile, shaking, clinging to him like a child. And Jungkook forced him still to seek calm. He took a deep breath, holding Taeyong even tighter. The gunfire stopped and Jungkook drove home with Taeyong. The car was badly damaged. News channels had already started reporting the attack. Jungkook's guard rode with them and tightened security. Jungkook, a man who had never needed protection, felt shocked that today he could not go out or catch the attackers because of one boy. Taekook held a storm of anger inside as he entered the house. Taeyong followed behind, frightened and watching Jungkook's face nervously. Jungkook stormed into the living room. He began picking up expensive items and throwing them. Many costly things broke and scattered on the floor. How did this reach them? Who in my house is telling my secrets? He shouted, fierce, throwing things from one side to the living room on the other. Suddenly, his eyes landed on the side of the room where a servant was quietly watching him. He rushed over and grabbed the servant by the throat. Of course, he was not ordinary man. He was Jungkook, a man who could recognize anyone in any instant. "You did all this, didn't you? Tell me." He was still holding the girl by the throat, and she was turning red from not being able to breathe. "Jungkook!" Jimin rushed to Jungkook, grabbed his hand and freed the girl's neck. Jungkook looked almost mean. The girl sank to the floor, clutching her throat and gasping for air. "Who is this? Ask her!" He roared. He may have been harsh, but till today, he had never laid a hand on any girl, and never without proof. Today, however, his anger had reached its peak, and he couldn't control himself. "Whoever this is, you have no right to act so shamelessly, and you cannot accuse her without proof. Get off my house, both of you. I swear, Jimin, if this girl is even linked to my enemies, I will kill her. I will give a death that will make the world tremble. Mark my words." He raised his voice, cold and threatening. Jimin froze for a moment, shocked. Taekook had never told him to leave before. Now, in front of everyone, Taekook ordered him to go. Without arguing, Jimin angrily grabbed the girl's hand and led her out of the house. Taekook paced back and forth, unable to calm down. Jacob, Jeon, and Jake stood nearby, watching quietly. They had come here just a short while ago. "What happened? Why are you so angry?" Jeon asked a little sharply. Jacob stood silently and serious. Jacob gave his father a hard look, then switched on the TV. Every channel showed the news of the attack. The three men were shocked by the images. Taekook was so shaken that he threw the remote at the TV in anger and then kicked the glass table. Taeyong stood there breathing hard and trembled and scared. "This is your mafia doing. Who dares to run bullet where Taekook goes? I do not need this mafia. I can deal with all of them myself," he roared as Jake stepped forward and put a hand on Taekook's shoulder. "Relax, you are the mafia king. These things are normal to happen. Anyone can be attacked." He tried to calm him. "Being attacked is normal for me, Grandpa. But if anything happened to him, I would make New York pay. Still, no, not now. He moved his hand and pointed at Taeyong while Jake took a deep breath. He's fine. He's with you. No, Grandpa. No one has ever taken me like this directly. And I couldn't answer back, sitting like a woman wearing bangles in a car. Take it easy, Taekook. The answer needs to go to Reno, not New York. No, New York will get the answer. They need to know who owns their city now. He hissed and walked away to his room. Taeyong's legs trembled. Dad, even your wildness quieted down around him. But in this matter, I am with Jungkook. Whoever did this will pay, he added firmly. I think we should find out who did this first, Jill suggested, and Jake nodded once. Will you stay here? Both of them looked at Jake, who again shook his head. No, Taeyong must be taken care of. It's hard, but not impossible. He said that left. The other left too. Taeyong sank down where he was, shaken and quiet. His heart hurt badly. Why had Jungkook sent Jimin away? Jimin had been his brother, his friend, his everything. The house felt hollow without him. Everything fell and a deep silence spread. Jimin used to be so bright and lively at home, but now even food felt meaningless. Taeyong stood up and moved to the sofa. Jungkook was inside the closed room. When he stepped out of the room, he looked human again, but inside he was weirdly holding himself together. If his grandfather had not calmed him down on the phone, promising that they would set everything up and let him deal with that man himself, he would not have found any peace. He looked toward the sofa, felt someone's presence, and walked closer. It was Taeyong. He was sleeping. He looked peaceful, but his face still showed signs of crying, and a bite of fear too. Jungkook took a deep breath. Taeyong? He whispered softly, running his heavy fingers gently through Taeyong's hair, but Taeyong was in deep sleep. Wake up, go sleep inside. Wait a minute, he stood up surprised today. Taeyong was sleeping peacefully, he had not gone anywhere. Jungkook had become thoughtful. How did he sleep without him? After trying for a while, Jungkook finally managed to wake him up. Taeyong slowly opened his sleepy eyes, spread his arm and pouted like he had met Jungkook for a long time. Jungkook tried to hide his smile as he pulled him into his arms. I get scared, his voice turned low and soft. When it comes to you, Taeyong, I really get scared. I feel like I lose control of myself. He whispered, but the silly boy had already fallen asleep again. Taekook looked down. Taeyong was breathing quietly, eyes closed once more. Lifted him in his arms, Jungkook carried him inside, but the moment he laid him on the bed like a witch, Taeyong suddenly woke up and sat straight. Listen, Taeyong, if you walk in your sleep, I'm fine with that. But I'm scared of witch inside you. So just sleep quietly. I'm awake, he said angrily. Oh, really? So you are awake now. It is laying down right in front of him. Why did you throw Jimin out of the house? He said angrily. What? You do not like the peace in this house? He said with a careless shrug. Jungkook, he suddenly climbed on top of him and Jungkook gone. What kind of nonsense is this? You are heavy, get off me. You will call Jimin right now. I can't stay calm without him, he said, shaking Jungkook by his shoulder. Fine, move, I'm calling him. He growled annoyed. Taeyong quickly moved aside like a good kid. Jungkook stood up. How could he ever have peace without Jimin around? He dialed Jimin's number, but Jimin didn't answer. Showing me attitude, huh? Just wait till you come back to this house, he murmured angrily and threw the phone on the bed. Suddenly slept. Taeyong lightly smacked him on the face, then nervously bit his fingers. You should call him again. He snorted, scared by Jungkook's look, and tried to run away. But Jungkook caught his back, pulled him back, and he fell straight on the bed. Jungkook put his arm around Taeyong's neck and lifted his face to look at him. The day you slapped my hand, you will learn, he said, then gave Taeyong a light smack just below the back. Taeyong nodded and cried out, Jungkook, you use your heads too much. You hit the Mafia king. Do you know? No one has ever dared touch me, he said and jerked him upright. Taeyong wrapped his arms around Jungkook's neck. I need Jimin home in the morning. This is your fault. You break everyone into pieces without checking who is guilty. That girl was sent by Lino. I can even write this down for you. Why would Lino do that? The word slipped out. Jungkook looked at him with very poisonous eyes. He is not worth the respect you gave him. Sorry, he bit his tongue. I will explain it to you properly. He stepped forward and switched off the light. The whole room sank into darkness. Taeyong kept calling Jungkook, Jungkook in the dark. Taekook seemed in a mood to give harsh, beautiful punishment. Next morning. Where are you? He asked sharply. David looked at his phone screen with irritation. What's your problem? I will be wherever I want. Who are you to act like my father? He said as he walked into the house. Jungkook turned to face him. Last night had been hard enough, but even in the morning Taeyong was still breathless. He wanted Jimin no matter what. Jungkook had called him again and again, maybe 100 times, when Jimin finally picked up, sounding full of attitude. Taekook turned, and there he was. He was happy to see Jimin again, but the scene in front of him made his face turn serious. Jimin! He shouted and ran toward him. Jimin jumped over the sofa and put Taeyong's cheek playfully. Oh my baby, did you miss me? A lot, he said with a smile. Doesn't it look like it? He frowned as he noticed a faint mark onto Taeyong's neck, half hidden under foundation. Taeyong hesitated and looked away. You never stop, do you? Shameless man. He glared at Jungkook while Jungkook just sat down on the sofa. His once serious life had completely ruined because of these two. Now, we will all stay here together, he said excitedly. Jungkook gave him a sharp look. I'm in the study room. Come to me right now, he said to Jimin and laughed. Taeyong baby, I just came, otherwise that bull would have killed me. He laughed and Taeyong laughed alone. This is my room, Jimin said, and Jungkook noticed. I will hang his body on the streets of New York. You just wait and watch. Jungkook said coldly. He's our brother. I doubt he is working with me more. Jungkook said seriously. Both of them continued their serious conversation as they walked inside. This whole plan, throwing Jimin out of the house, was part of Jungkook's plan. Other side. He's your brother. John snapped angrily while Mark looked at his father with careless eyes. Even if I say it 1,000 times, I will say the same. I didn't do it. John moved toward him in anger. Stay away from him. He is part of a Mafia gang. They will crush you in a second and no one will even know you exist. John warned, trying to stop him. Are you trying to scare me with him? You think I will afraid? Mark will finish him. You will see, he said, finally said with open defense. Mark? John roared, but it had no effect. Mark walked away. John knew Jungkook didn't care about anyone. If he had to kill Mark, he would, without hesitation. But John was worried about the madness his son was falling into. Jake also entered the room. Did you find out anything? He's the one who planned all this, Dad, John said angrily. Jake went silent for a moment. It's not wise to walk straight into that, especially when it's Jungkook you are dealing with. John clenched his fist tightly, frustration showing on his face. Jake pulled out a chair and sat beside him. Both of them fell into deep, heavy silence, lost in thought.